Yeah, you are such a support.
John, four. John. I'm positive.
I got you, John.
5. Why?
Key price, John? Change. I'm also a forex trader. Now that's the love of my life. The reason I love forex is that in forex I get to make money so that I'll be able to invest in my companies. What I want to do is that I want to create an empire. That's the whole aim. And this is where it all begins. Now what I do here is that on Fed Cakes, it's breakfast. It's basically a simple breakfast on the go for people going to work, people going to school. Yeah, I was taught by my mom to do this. Wow, she's a fantastic chef, I must say myself. Now, the reason I decided to do forex is that it's one of what you say. It's a source of income for me. I'll be able to invest in my companies and build the empire which I want to build. Now, I started forex about 12 months ago. I went to do a course with a school in Sandton, London School of Investment. Now, forex is part of the stock market. It's not the whole shebang. Forex is foreign exchange, the exchange of foreign currencies. Let's say British pound against the Japanese yen. Now that's my favorite pair. The reason why it's my favorite pair is because of its volatility. That's what we are after in the market. You want the volatility because without movement, you won't be making any money. We're making money by the ups and downs of the currency. So basically, initially, what I'm saying about the stock market is that it's device. It's huge. There is CFDs. Those are contracts for difference. That's where you can trade your shares for BMW or your HPs, your Apple. And then you've got your cryptocurrencies. That's where you trade your Bitcoins, you trade your lithiums, your neos. And then you've got forex. In your forex, you've got your pairs. We've got major pairs, your euro versus US dollar. You've got Japanese yen versus the British pound, US dollar, Australian dollar. And then your South African rand against the other currencies, they fall under exotics because of its volatility. And now, another thing that we look for in the market is that we want to see if ever there will be any movements, because that's where we make the money. So we follow, fundamental traders would follow news. So if Germany would release any fundamental news, fundamental traders would then would want to go and place their trades there, following any news that would be released in Germany, and then it would have any impact on the euro. So let's say if Germany were to release job statistics and they were good, that would be good for the euro, and therefore you would buy the euro against the US dollar, and therefore you would be making your profits. But then if it was otherwise, you would sell your euro and then you would still make your profits. Now, we deal with pips. Pips are points. The more pips you collect, the more money you make. That's the fundamentals of Forex. And now this here is my side hustle. One of my businesses. Amakuinya. Oh, wow, this I should say, I must say, it's the best thing that can do to your soul that pizza does to most. Well, what we use here is basically wheat flour, oil, yeast, salt, sugar, and then I mix them overnight with water, create this dough, which I will use the following day, which is today, and then I prepare my fed cakes for my customers, which they then grab as they go. And then as I proceed, I check on my trades, how they are going. I check on my trades. That's what I love again about Forex. You can do it on the go anytime, anywhere, and still making a killing. Now, what I love about it as well is that once you have made it, you'll be able to provide for families and changing people's lives. Because at the end of the day, being boss is not about stunting, but it's about changing people's lives and making sure that at least the next person has bread on his table. Wow, I'm looking at the Euro USD and I'm loving the movements. I'm seeing that it's dropping off the 8-day moving average and it's going quite down to reach support. So I might be closing that profit because in my Forex trading, the strategy that I use is that I use my price action, which is I follow the resistance and support level. As soon as it gets to a support level, I would consider entering a trade, and then I would automatically, what I love is that I collect plus minus 100 pips per trade. So I also set a take profit there where it's at 114690, and then that's approximately the second trade will be closed at a 50-day moving average. And then, so because it's a system, I'll allow it to do what it does, and then I carry on with what I do, which is my fed cakes. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. That's what I love about myself, is that I've got what we call transferable skills. Hey, Mangabuzan, I'm a cupcake, one of my customers. Oh, Antona, I'm a cupcake, mfana wami lawa yazi. Mara wangangibulisanga namhla ngitheni ku kunjani? Nami ngiyaphila mfana wami. Awuyangi crash. Okay. Now, as you can see, they're almost ready, and then what I do, because as I said, I've got transferable skills, I'm also gonna explain the steps that I put into my fed cake making system. Having transferable skills is one of the important things in life, because you learn something here and then you transfer it at another thing there. And with that in mind, you will be able to survive a lot of things. As you can see, if this was a mini company, this would be workstation 1, where sub-assembly has been brought into the plant. This will be workstation 2, where the dough is being cut into the size that is been required. I love using this cup because it's easy to cut and it makes all the sizes to be approximately equal for all the customers, to avoid noise and all complaints, because as you know, the customer is always right. Now what I also do is that I'll prepare it so that it will be nice and fluffy inside. I spread it outside. This would be workstation 2, where it's 3, where it's into the flour. And then when to avoid a backlog what I do is that I normally cut them, put them here, put them aside while I carry on rolling, and then while the flour is busy preparing the other fed cakes to be into the final production, and then my customers would be ready for their breakfast. You start the day with me and then everything will be nice for you. Mntana yam, ufuna ikwini? When I'm working with these, they remind me of the universe and how they surround. It all reminds me of the sun and everything. I'm a person who believes in the universe and the theory of relativity, putting out good thoughts which they will bring back good results. Now, what happens is your kindness has a ripple effect to the universe. The more people we have who will be kind, the better world we will live in. And it's all about trying to make the world a better person for the next person. What I've realized at an early age is that leaders are born, they are not made. I'm one of natural born leaders. That I can say myself because I've seen by the way and my desires, the things that I want, it's always about wanting to help the next person. That's what I've realized. With that in mind, and with things that I've done, it tends to be overwhelming at times. But I know with all the planning that I've put into my goals, they will be attained, and then they will be turned into its equivalent monetary value. Earlier on in life, I had wanted to be a soccer player or an athlete, but I've realized that those are short careers, and at a certain time or at a certain age, you need to be at a certain level. Hello, Tsaki Gunjan. Aye? 10. Okay. So I realized that I need to now choose much more bigger and longer lasting careers. So it was in 2004 when I was still in high school, Northern High, where I grew love for the stock markets. The first CFD that I was interested in, well, actually it was not a CFD, but it was public offering shares of the MTN Zakhele shares, which I wasn't able to acquire at that age. I was still young, but I tried to acquire the money. Unfortunately, it was 3 days after I closed, and I no longer got that. But that's where I was bitten by the bug. I also did commercial subjects at school, business economics, which allowed me to be aware of the stock markets and all the instruments involved in it. That's where I got the love and passion to be an entrepreneur, being a director at my company, Lean Maestro, specializing in production and storage solutions for companies. Because what I want to do is that South Africa is a developing country. We need small SMEs that will grow the country's economy by providing jobs. There's an Afrikaans saying, "Piki piki maak meer," which means small will get you there. I don't know if you get my point, but yeah, Rome wasn't built in one day. So with passion, everything is attainable. As long as you set your goals, you will get there. My favorite pair is the GJ, which is a Great British Pound against the Japanese yen. The reason I love that pair is because it has movements. You'll never be disappointed with that pair. With that pair, I probably collect roughly 300 to 800 pips a day. So yeah, it's that thing that will make me get there. So that's why it's my favorite pair. And the Euro USD, well, it's also a nice pair to trade, because as you know, their President Donald Trump also has a lot of things to say, which some investors tend to follow, and it has a ripple effect. But I also love, what I love about South Africa is that I'm able to trade most of the activity of the markets. In the morning I wake up, I come here, trade while working, until the London session opens, which is my favorite session to trade, followed by the USA session. It's also one of my favorite. It's also one of my favorites to trade. Well, the Asian session I don't trade so much because it's kind of sleepy. I also like trading. The Australian session is also nice to trade. So yeah, being in South Africa allows me to trade 3 of the most active sessions, which has the potential to allow me to make lots of money, which, to be honest, I haven't, but I'm getting there. That I will be honest with you, but I'm getting there. And one thing for sure is that positivity bears positive results. One, as a person, you can never, as I say, you can never, that's one of words that I don't choose in my vocabulary, because in the stock market, sometimes you make it, sometimes you don't. You need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to be aware of what's happening within the global world. So I would say I'm a global citizen, because I know basically a lot of things that happen around the world. And the reason I would say that, because I also like trading the gold. And once you become a gold trader in gold, there's a lot of correlations with the gold pair. If the Euro USD is going up, then gold is also going up. I could have explained the correlation between it. Why is it going up? Because the Euro USD, the US dollar is a dominating currency of the world, and gold is one of the most precious commodities that we have. So if gold goes up, euro goes up. If gold goes up, New Zealand dollar goes up against the US dollar. Things like oil as well. And also in the stock market, you trade sugar, we trade wheat, we basically trade everything. And then you find people saying Forex is a scam. Well, the reason why people get scammed is because at some countries it hasn't been regulated, and so therefore it creates a grey market for thugs to mess up people's lives and take advantage of the less knowledgeable people. Hey baba, nali pig lakho uyitheni kanti? Nali pig lakho la. Ow. So yeah, with me, I'm a multi-skilled person. That's what I love about myself. And what I've learned is that you never tell yourself as a person that I can't, I won't. Ifs and buts never got anyone anywhere. If you can think about it, then it's surely and possibly achievable.